Verizon iPhone 14 101, Verizon new iPhone 14 offer? The Verizon iPhone 14 is a 6.1-inch smartphone that runs on iOS 17 and supports 5G connectivity. Here are some details about it. Specs review. The iPhone 14 has a Super Retina XDR display with a resolution of 2532 x 1170 pixels and a peak brightness of 1200 nits. It is powered by the A15 Bionic chip with a 5-core GPU and 4 GB of RAM. It has a dual camera system on the back, consisting of a 12MP main camera with an f/1.6 aperture and a 12MP ultra-wide camera with an f/2.4 aperture. It also has a 12MP selfie camera with an f/2.2 aperture and autofocus. The iPhone 14 has a 3,240 mAh battery that supports wireless charging and fast charging with a 20W adapter. It has 128GB, 256GB, or 512GB of internal storage and no microSD card slot. It has an IP68 rating for water and dust resistance and a ceramic shield front for durability. It also has Face ID, MagSafe, stereo speakers, and a lightning port. It does not have a 3.5mm headphone jack, a fingerprint scanner, or a high refresh rate screen. Features. The iPhone 14 has several new features that make it stand. Some of these features are, Emergency SOS via satellite. This feature allows you to send an emergency message to local authorities even when you are out of cellular coverage. You can activate this feature by pressing and holding the side button and one of the volume buttons until the emergency SOS slider appears. Then, slide the SOS button to the right to send a message with your location to the nearest emergency services. Crash detection. This feature uses the sensors and microphone of the iPhone to detect if you are involved in a car crash. If it detects a crash, it will ask you if you need help. If you don't respond, it will automatically call 911 and share your location. Action mode. This feature is a new camera mode that smooths out shaky handheld videos. It uses optical image stabilization and electronic image stabilization to reduce blur and jitter. You can activate this mode by tapping the action button in the camera app. Cons. The iPhone 14 is not a perfect phone, and it has some drawbacks that you should be aware of. Some of these drawbacks are, no optical zoom. The iPhone 14 does not have a telephoto lens, which means it cannot zoom in optically. It only has digital zoom, which crops and enlarges the image, resulting in lower quality. If you want optical zoom, you need to get the iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max, which have 3x optical zoom. No USB-C. The iPhone 14 still uses the Lightning port, which is proprietary and less versatile than USB-C. USB-C is the standard port for most Android phones and other devices, such as laptops, tablets, and headphones. It supports faster data transfer, faster charging, and more accessories. If you want USB-C, you need to get an Android phone or wait for Apple to adopt it in the future. Display is still 60 Hz. The iPhone 14 does not have a high refresh rate screen, which means it refreshes at 60 Hz. This is the standard rate for most phones, but some Android phones have screens that refresh at 90 Hz, 120 Hz, or even 144 Hz. A higher refresh rate makes the screen smoother and more responsive, especially when scrolling, gaming, or watching videos. If you want a high refresh rate screen, you need to get the iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max, which have promotion technology that can adjust the refresh rate from 1 Hz to 120 Hz. Pro tips for using iPhone 14. The iPhone 14 has some hidden features and tricks that can enhance your experience. Here are some pro tips for using it. Use live text to copy, translate, or look up text from photos. Live text is a feature that recognizes text in photos and lets you interact with it. You can copy text from a photo and paste it elsewhere, translate text from one language to another, or look up information about text on the web. To use live text, open the Photos app and tap on a photo that has text. Then, tap on the live text icon at the bottom right corner. You will see the text highlighted in yellow. You can then select the text and perform various actions, such as copying, sharing, translating, or searching. Use focus mode to reduce distractions and stay on task. Focus mode is a feature that lets you customize your notifications and home screen based on what you are doing. You can create different focus modes for different scenarios, such as work, personal, sleep, or gaming. When you activate a focus mode, you will only receive notifications from the apps and contacts that you allow. You can also choose which home screen pages and widgets to show or hide. To use focus mode, open the Settings app and tap on Focus. Then, tap on the plus sign to create a new focus mode or tap on an existing one to edit it. You can then select the apps and contacts that you want to allow or block, and the home screen pages and widgets that you want to show or hide. You can also schedule a focus mode to turn on automatically at a certain time or location, or when you open a specific app. Use back tap to perform actions by tapping the back of your phone. Back tap is a feature that lets you assign actions to double tap or triple tap gestures on the back of your phone. You can choose from various actions, such as taking a screenshot, launching an app, or activating Siri. To use back tap, open the Settings app and tap on Accessibility. Then, tap on Touch and scroll down to back tap. You can then select double tap or triple tap and choose an action from the list. Known issues and fixes. The iPhone 14 is not immune to bugs and glitches, and some users have reported various issues with their devices. Here are some of the known issues and fixes for the iPhone 14. Camera shake issue. Some iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max users have noticed that their cameras produce shaky or blurry photos and videos, especially in low light conditions. This is caused by a software bug that affects the optical image stabilization system. Apple has acknowledged this issue and promised to fix it in a future software update. In the meantime, you can try to reduce camera shake by holding your phone steady, using a tripod, or turning off the action mode. Missing 5G option. Some iPhone 14 users have reported that they don't see any options for 5G in their cellular settings, even though they have a 5G enabled plan and coverage. This is not a bug, but a feature of the iPhone 14. The iPhone 14 does not have a physical SIM card slot, but uses eSIM instead. eSIM is a digital SIM card that allows you to activate or switch your plan without inserting a physical card. However, eSIM does not support 5G yet, so you will only see LTE and 4G options in your cellular settings. If you want to use 5G, you need to get an iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max, which have both eSIM and SIM card slots. Battery drain issue. Some iPhone 14 users have complained that their battery drains faster than expected, even when the phone is idle. This could be due to various factors, such as background apps, location services, screen brightness, or network settings. To fix this issue, you can try some of the following tips. Update your phone to the latest version of iOS 17, which may include bug fixes and performance improvements. Check your battery usage and see which apps are consuming the most power. You can do this by opening the Settings app and tapping on Battery. You can then tap on the battery icon to see the battery usage by app. You can also tap on Show Activity to see how much time each app has been running in the background. You can then close or delete the apps that you don't need or use frequently. Turn off location services for the apps that don't need them. You can do this by opening the Settings app and tapping on Privacy. Then, tap on Location Services and toggle off the apps that you don't want to access your location. You can also tap on System Services and turn off the options that you don't need, such as location-based alerts, location-based suggestions, or significant locations. Adjust your screen brightness and turn on auto brightness. You can do this by opening the Settings app and tapping on Display and Brightness. You can then drag the brightness slider to the left or right to adjust the brightness level. You can also toggle on the auto brightness option, which will automatically adjust the brightness based on the ambient light. Turn on low power mode, which will reduce the power consumption of your phone by limiting some features and functions. You can do this by opening the Settings app and tapping on Battery. You can then toggle on the low power mode option. You can also add the low power mode toggle to your control center for easier access. You can do this by opening the Settings app and tapping on Control Center. You can then tap on the plus sign next to low power mode to add it to your control center. Alternatives. Here are some of the top alternative smartphones to consider instead of the iPhone 14. Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Android flagship with a 6.8 AMOLED display, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, up to 1 TB storage. Excellent camera system with 200MP main sensor, 10x optical zoom. S Pen stylus support, 5,000 mAh battery. Google Pixel 7 Pro, premium Android phone with 6.70 LED display, Google's Tensor G2 chip. Outstanding camera performance with computational photography. Clean Android experience, 3 years of OS updates. OnePlus 11 Pro, affordable flagship with 6.7 QHD plus AMOLED, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, up to 16 GB RAM. Triple camera setup with 32MP selfie camera. 5,000 mAh battery, 80W wired charging. Sony Xperia 1 4, 6.54K OLED with 120Hz refresh rate, Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip. Excellent cameras tuned by Sony's Alpha team. 5,000 mAh battery, water-resistant body. Asus Zenfone 9, compact 5.9 AMOLED display, Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset. Excellent performance and solid camera system. 4,300 mAh battery, 3.5mm headphone jack. The Galaxy, Pixel, and OnePlus phones run the latest Android 13 and offer great displays, performance, cameras and battery life while often costing less than iPhones.